you go to mods, you can remove the limiter, which basically... So they slowed the RPM of the SKS and made their reload slower. That is really weird. It now fires extremely slow. Basically, it has 50 damage. All right, so hello gamers and welcome back to another video. So I'm recording this live and please watch until the end because this update is massive. It is so big. They have changed so much stuff. They also removed a lot of stuff as well. They removed the Scar Hammer 9x19mm. I don't know why, but yeah, we'll talk about it. First off, there's a new map. It's called Jarvit, but it's only in the test play, so it's probably not going to get added to the game. Then you have our first new gun, and this is going to be an interesting new gun. And I don't know why, but you can't see the model at all. It's called the Colt Mars. It's literally just the Colt SMG, but it's a little bit different as well. Interesting change to the Colt SMG. It's now invisible. It has 29 to 21 damage and has 825 RPM. It's basically just going to be the Colt SMG 5.56 conversion, but no longer on the Colt SMG. It has a 4 to a 5 hit. It does have 9x30mm, which will give you 35 to 16 damage. I can't really tell the recoil because there's literally no model for it, but it's a not great recoil and really awful min damage. I don't know if this gun is actually, like, I can't even look at the gun right now, but I don't think this is actually going to be the final version of the gun. Keep in mind that these changes will not necessarily be final, and a lot of the changes I hope are not, because we'll talk about it, because there are some pretty bad changes overall, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know, it's like it's a decent gun. Like, it's not amazing. It's 825 RPM, decent TTK. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about this gun. I kind of like the reload when there's no gun. It's kind of funny. The first really big thing here is that the VSS has been completely maybe nerfed into the ground. It still has its torso multiplier, which is cool and all, but basically it's more of a semi-automatic type gun. And yeah, it has awful recoil and worse damage, so not going to be a great gun overall. It's going to be a 2-shot to the torso now, and really just not great at all. It's going to be a semi-auto gun now. Like, it's basically just a semi-auto only gun, and it does worse damage. What they really could have done is just made the auto recoil way worse, the damage the same, because I don't feel like this is really a good change to the gun. You know, it's just going to be, you know, an average DMR now. Not a great DMR. It does have way better semi-auto recoil, so I do like the recoil of it. But yeah, I don't know if I like the change. It's not too bad, actually, for semi-auto. They also made VSS have an automatic conversion. This is the 7.62, but they made it auto for some reason. It's actually pretty accurate, I'm not gonna lie. It doesn't fire super quickly, it's 700 RPM, but the damage is... I think this is actually going to be a meta gun now. Recoil's not bad at all, which is not something I actually anticipated at all. Like, the recoil's pretty good. They also buffed overall the E-gun and the advanced coil gun, which is, you know, the coil gun, but it's not called the advanced coil gun. They made the damage a lot better, and I think it falls off a little bit harder at range, but these should be, like, way better guns. In fact, this one can, with no attachments, the advanced coil gun, the secondary, one burst to the body, which is kind of cracked, I'm not gonna lie. They also rebalance the thumper completely, and this should be more of a nerf to it. It does 28 times 12 now instead of 34 times 10, so it has more pellets. Yeah, it's not going to be that great anymore. I don't think it was super popular to begin with, but yeah, it's just going to be a worse gun. The 1858 and the 1858 carbine had some pretty nice changes. I really like these overall. The biggest change here is basically that with snake shot and the short barrel, you can now fan fire once again, which is really cool. So yeah, you can fan fire the 1858 carbine once again. It says new, but that's not really true. That was in the game before, and then they removed it. It also made the headshot multiplier increase when you use short barrel. It didn't have a big effect on shotgun conversions, but overall, this will make the actual damage and the ability to use different barrels of these two guns really interesting. They'll have worse velocity, but I think this should be an overall nice change to them. Probably one of the few changes I just overall kind of enjoy from this update, and this should be like a really good gun. The fan fire 1858 carbine, basically like the snake shot on the 1858, but you know, a primary, so it's not going to be as broken as that thing was. But yeah, this does 35 up close, which is pretty good, I'm not going to lie, and the short barrel allows the fan fire. Other than that, you can't fan fire, so having the short barrel will make your spread a lot worse as well, so it's going to be an overall good change that should make the 1858 carbine with snake shot not amazing, but nice overall. The next changes I kind of like are the Groza changes. The first change is the Groza 1. Now, the Groza 1 has a lot worse recoil now. However, it also has a slower reload as well, but it does a lot more damage. It's going to be more like, you know, an actual 7.62 gun, which will not be super nice in everybody's opinion. However, there are some changes to it to make it a little bit more like the old version. So, honestly, it's kind of cracked. It can 3-shot to the body, 2-shot to the head in close range, and does 24 min, which is honestly really good. that recoil's not bad either. Like, it's actually pretty good. Then it has 5.56 by 39 millimeter, which is actually pretty cracked looking. Wait, what? This has a slower reload and it has way worse recoil. Well, not that much worse recoil, but it does 35 to 20 damage, so 3 to a 5 shot, and has 45 bullets. It's got a bit of recoil. Almost like an RPK, but baby mode. It's kind of cool. And we have 5.56 by 45, which used to be really, really broken. It will slow your RPM. However, you do get, I think, a 2-shot to the head, which is nice. Cool sounding, I'm not gonna lie. I don't think it's that great, though. So they've completely rebalanced, and in some cases, they have removed the conversions on the AKs that make them shotguns. And this is like a slug conversion with 30 bullets, which is cool. I think it can 1-shot to the head, but not to the torso. So, I don't know. It's gonna be an alright, like... It's got really bad recoil, I'm not gonna lie. And you have 3.66 shot, which is basically kind of like the old version. It does really bad damage, but has a lot of pellets, which is cool. Seems actually pretty good. It'd be more like your average AK shotgun, and this will actually be gone on the 47, which is kind of interesting. The SKS also has some new conversions, and I guess I'll talk about this as well. The SKS did get a nerf. It should just be like a slower reload and stuff, but we'll talk about it more in a little bit because I don't know where it is in the patch notes. This is... Oh, that's awesome. This will be reloading the internal magazine or internal clip. No, I think it's a magazine. This is also true with slugs, and the slugs can still... No, they can't one-shot all rangers. They can barely one-shot at all. That's really not that good. See if they actually changed the... Nope. So this is still... Yeah, slower reload time, but the SKS is... Does it do less damage? Like, that is not good. So they slowed the RPM of the SKS and made their reload slower. That is really weird. Now the PDW long barrel is interesting. I don't know if it's that great though. It will lower your damage, but it will increase your torso multiplier. And this is really not that great in certain guns. For example, MP5 SD will now do 14 minimum damage with a long barrel, which is really unfortunate. Before, it would just lower your max damage and not give you torso multi or anything. This might still allow it to 3-shot torso up close, but barely, and it will just completely kill your long-range performance. For a long barrel, that makes no sense. They say we're not making it a direct, you know, long-range upgrade, but it's not a long-range upgrade. It's a long-range downgrade. This might be okay on certain guns, but it's not going to be that great overall. In fact, it's going to be really bad on this gun in particular. Groza and Obrez 8mm also got kind of a rebalance. Groza 8mm now has 100 stud torso kill range again. However, it will lower your RPM and you will single load shells, or not shells, but bullets. You know, you single load with it, and it shoots significantly slower. And as you can see, that's the reload. 1 bullet at a time. This will make it powerful, but like it won't shoot that fast, so I don't really think it's gonna be that great or anything. Decent torso kill range, of course, but like, you know, kind of slow. X95 SMG got a bit of a rebalance. It's kind of a nerf, and I don't really know why. It got a new conversion, which is called Zitara. It's called 5.56 by 30mm Minsas, and basically lower damage. However, you get a massive headshot multiplier. I guess it's kind of cool. It's fine. This, I think, can 2-shot to the head, which is interesting and cool and all, but I think the default gun can also do that. This will make the long-range headshot damage significantly better, but I don't think most people will care about that, so I guess we'll have to see. I don't really know if this is going to be that great, to be honest, but... I can't even see my red dot, so, oh, wow. The C782 got its long barrel re-added back to the game, and it's now called the LSW barrel. It'll give you better recoil for some reason, but lower RPM. The gun already has really good recoil, so I don't think this is going to be that great. You do get better like pen and velocity and stuff, but I don't think it's going to be that bad, and it's not going to be like super broken either, so I think it will be an overall like decent attachment. So the Saiga 12 got the lengthened and the shortened barrel, so this should make it more like a long short barrel type thing on an assault rifle, which is cool because Saiga 12 has a lot of conversions that are not shotguns, so this should make it interesting, dude. Not gonna lie, that was interesting. Lengthened barrel, I guess, is going to be better spread and stuff, but not that great overall. It will reduce camera recoil, which is cool. The short barrel, though, is really interesting. Better headshot damage, better max damage range, and better max damage. So it increases your damage up close, your damage range up close, and your headshot damage, which sounds really, really good. Scorpion actually got a change as well. If you go to mods, you can remove the limiter, which basically gives you 1000 RPM, which is pretty cool. I don't think it's going to be that great. It increases recoil by quite a bit, but this should make it a little bit more competitive with like an average, you know, super fast machine pistol. SVDS has a really interesting only long-range conversion. It's called 10 by 3.5mm, which is basically just a long-range headshot killing conversion. Awful damage up close. It does really bad damage, 45. However, it drops up to 80 damage. It can't even one-shot headshot in close range, and it can 3-shot to the body up close. However, after like, you know, 200 studs, this thing is going to be amazing. One shot headshot, 80 damage to the body and like 90 to the torso. And yeah, it shoots really quickly as well. Uranium rounds to the MG3 and the Mark 11. These are kind of a meme, I guess, because all they do really is triple your pen and make your damage at range really bad, and your range is really bad, and they do increase your velocity. Basically, if you want like massive pen on your gun and faster velocity, it's pretty cool. But this is especially bad on the Mark 11 because it literally has no torso multiplier with it. So it does like, you know, 38 instead of like, actually it does like 32 at range. Super Shorty now has basically a Spaz 12 pump action conversion. It will actually lower your RPM, but increase, you know, your effective range. It will make your spread lower, which is cool. I don't think it's going to be super meta, but it might be okay. The G3 got a few nice changes. It got a new name. It's now the G3A3, which is the real life version of the gun. This will probably make the G3 though. It has wooden furniture to make it the original G3. And this will improve your recoil a little bit. You have worse walk speed, which is interesting. But it now has a 45 ACP conversion, which is really cool. 600 RPM, not a lot more than default ammo, but 37 to 22 damage and a 1.7 times headshot multiplier. And you get 30 bullets and low recoil. I think this is going to be a really nice conversion. Main thing here is that you can kill with 2 shots, 1 head and 1 body, which is really, really good. It falls off a bit at range, but it has 600 RPM, low recoil. Like, that's really good recoil, I'm not gonna lie. The AKU-12 now reloads slower, which is kind of annoying, and the K1A got a complete rebalance, same with the SCAR PDW. K1A now does 30 to 16 and has a torso multiplier, so it does the same damage to the torso. However, if you run 2-3, it does really, really bad damage. So really what this is to nerf is 2-3, I think. The SCAR PDW as well has had some pretty massive changes. It now has a torso multiplier, which is cool, but it has lower damage. This should allow it to 5-shot at range, which is cool, but no longer 2-shot headshot. So is it an overall nerf? Not necessarily, but it should be just a different gun, I guess. I don't know. It doesn't really feel that great at range. They also have completely removed, for no reason, the 9mm conversion on this gun, which was a really cool conversion, so I don't know why they did that. The ECR has had a massive nerf. It has worse RPM and worse ranges, which is really unfortunate, I'm not gonna lie. The SKS has a slower reload time and worse fire rate, and the TCR has a massive nerf. Now does 51 to 36, it has a worse torso multiplier, but a better headshot multiplier, so it still can one-shot to the head, but not as far, and it does way worse damage overall. This is a massive nerf to a gun that I really, really like, and I'm probably not going to really be using it as much anymore. It's still going to be pretty good, but like not that great. I don't know. The AK-47 actually had its recoil improved. Basically, you still can't tell because there's no model right now because ROBLOX is being buggy, but better recoil overall. Not like a ton better recoil. It still has kind of nerfed recoil. The C7A2 got a slower reload time, but a slightly better damage range. It's a nerf to the gun. The M16A4 got a nerf to its bursting speed, kind of annoying. The HK416 got lower damage and reduced range 1. Basically, it falls off a little bit harder over range. It shouldn't be a massive problem. The FAMAS got a massive change as well. It now does 28 to 19 with G2 conversion. And it does 30 to 20 by default, which is crazy. It does have a faster reload by a little bit, but like, it's a 4-shot now. It's really not that great. I think this should be a kind of annoying change. I don't think a lot of people are going to be liking this, and I don't think the gun was that broken. You could have just made it like not 3-hit kill as far or something, you know, like 20 studs or something. I don't know. The G11 actually got a buff, which is pretty interesting. Basically, now if you use it in semi-auto or full auto, it'll have absolutely no recoil. Holy. Absolutely no recoil. Wow. Is this going to make it an amazing gun in auto? No, it's going to make it like a useful gun in auto. That's about it. It's not going to be that great or anything, and the bursting is still going to be the only reason you should be using this gun. The X95 SMG got its extended magazine removed. However, it has, I guess, a faster reload time. It's kind of an overall nerf, I guess. The MP10 had its min damage reduced to 20, not a big problem. The Colt SMG is probably going to be one of the most controversial changes of this update. I did think that this gun could have gotten a nerf for a long time. This nerf is kind of big. It does 32 damage now instead of 35. So it can no longer 3-shot kill. It's kind of interesting. Is this going to make the gun suck? Not really. It's still going to have 1,000 RPM, a big magazine, and a fast reload and everything like that, but it's not going to be as great, I'm not going to lie. MAC-10 had an overall change to it. It now has better range, but worse damage. So basically, it's going to be not able to 2-shot to the head anymore, and I think this is basically just because the Colt SMG is no longer able to 3-shot kill. So this is now not going to be like a direct upgrade to the Colt SMG. It was never that because I feel like the recoil is way higher, but it'll be pretty good still, just not really that great or anything. Maybe better than the Colt SMG, I'm not gonna lie. It has worse min damage than the Colt SMG, but better close range damage and a little bit more RPM, so it's gonna be Kinda, maybe the new meta, I don't know. The MP5 SD had reduced minimum damage. It shouldn't be a massive problem though, and the G36C has better recoil, and I want to check this one. Let's see if it's good. Wow, wait. Why does the scope look so weird right now? Roblox is so buggy. The sawed off actually got a bit of a buff, I guess. This should make it kind of cracked, I'm not gonna lie. Basically, it has 50 damage, but worse range. So if you want to have a gun that can kill with 2 pellets up close, but not very far, it might actually be cracked for like point blank range now. Maybe they finally fixed the sawed off after like years of it being really, really bad. Okay, that's one guy. Bonk. Okay, wow. 45, nice. Okay, that was a kill from pretty far, not gonna lie. That seems pretty good. Okay. Definitely a close range gun, but it should be really, really good for like extremely close range, as you can see. There's 50 damage, 8 pellets, and 16 with the burst. That's really, really good. I'm not gonna lie. The Obres now single loads with its 8.5 millimeter and now can run extended magazine. Oh my gosh, I think this is on the, oh my gosh, yeah, you can have extended mag. What? You can have extended magazine and 8 mil now, and does it single load? It does single load. AF 2011 now has increased damage and has better spread, which is interesting. M2011 got a little bit of a buff. Nobody cares. The Hardballer got reduced damage and fire rate, but better recoil. That's kind of whack. The Scorpion got increased reserve ammo. And the ASMI got increased ranges and better damage. That's kind of good. The TRG is probably the biggest nerf of this entire update. Maybe. That's because they have made it only able to one-shot to 60 studs. Yes, it can one-shot to the limbs or the torso, which is cool and all, except for the fact that you got to keep in mind it now fires extremely slow, and it can no longer torso kill past 60 studs. So it's really just headshot at long range, shoots really slow, or using close range. That's literally it. Just running close range or long range, and that's it. You can't really run it in medium range because unless you're hitting headshots, it does like no damage. It's kind of annoying. It will make it a little bit better for close range though, I'm not gonna lie. So maybe it's not the biggest nerf for this update, but it's not gonna be an update that people are gonna like too much, I don't think. The M107 now has better recoil for some reason. Also, Dust Shot is completely nerfed into the ground. It does way worse damage and has less pellets for some reason, I don't know why. And suppressors will now increase your range on the M107, which means that the gun is going to be nerfed overall, but not really, because it does have better recoil. Not that it really matters. K14 got a bit of an overall rebalance. If you guys didn't know, the K14 in the test place is now a much faster firing sniper with a worse torso kill range. It's pretty good overall, I'm not gonna lie. AWM actually fires a little bit slower now. However, it has a better torso kill range. That's about it. And better velocity. And they nerfed the op conversion, and now I think, no, it's about the same fire rate. It just has worse velocity. I think that's about it. AWP is probably the good conversion now on it. I'm not gonna lie. M60 now has better fire rate, but does worse damage and has worse range. It's kind of like a not necessary change. Honestly, this might make the M60 cracked. I don't know, but it's gonna have worse range and stuff, so maybe not. The L86 now has worse ranges, worse min damage, and worse velocity. Probably not gonna make it that much worse, but yeah, it's definitely in there. The AUG H-bar now has worse range, but not by a lot. RPK-74 now does a little bit less damage and can no longer two-shot kill to the head. The Colt LMG now reloads slower. MG36 now has worse recoil, worse min damage. I know why they did the min damage thing, because now 223 isn't that broken on it anymore, but now it's actually not too bad. Recoil feels really similar. I'm gonna split this into 2 parts. The last change I'll talk about is the fact that now the global offensive scope is slightly better. It now has a little bit faster aiming speed, which is cool. I really like the global offensive. I don't really use it too much, but maybe it'll be better. But yeah, I gotta end the stream, dude. I feel so sick. But yeah, see you guys. Have a nice day.